Welcome to the Landscaping Podcast. My name is Joel Barnett and I'm your host. And in today's episode, I'm talking with Patrick Hudecek from Peak Project Group. They're a landscaping company based in Mansfield, Victoria, so doing some high-end landscapes in the high country. So Patrick started the business himself, and then in the last year or so, he brought on a couple of business partners. So there's three of them now, and it's a great example of when partnerships work is when the people who are involved have got different skill sets, and he talks about everyone's strengths and weaknesses in this and explains why that is a successful part of their business. He's also got a great part where he talks about the Tuesday toolbox meetings and just the site run throughs that he goes through with his employees and the benefits of doing that. And also talk about marketing and how they're going to be ramping that up before they actually need it, which is a great idea. So love chatting with Patrick, and there's a couple of really good tips to take away from this chat. So hopefully you enjoy this chat with Patrick Hudecek. Patrick, thank you for joining us on the Landscaping Podcast. My first question for you is, how did you start in the industry?
How did I start? Well, I was living in Canada at 19 and just out of school, not knowing what to do with myself. So I went traveling instead. And I got asked by a family member over there to fix up some paving on our driveway, which I'd never knew before was even a trade because she couldn't find anyone to do it. Carpenters wouldn't do it, obviously, because it's not timber and whatever. So I did that and I was like, oh, this is cool. So I worked out how to do a bit of concreting, how to do a bit of paving, and then worked out that there was a trade behind all of that. So when I came back to Australia, I looked into it and yeah, started it when I was 21. Started sort of teaching myself stuff, then put myself through trade school at night.
All right.
While I was doing anything that made money during the day, and then working with subcontractors as I picked up a few skills. Yeah, so that was my start. I didn't start the same as everyone else doing a 3 or 4 year apprenticeship. I just self-taught for a little bit until I needed actual skill. There's only so much you can learn from the book at TAFE. It was good to a certain degree, but then I need to put some practice behind it. So I work with a couple of Sydney landscapers to sort of better my skills over a longer period of time than you would do an apprenticeship. But by the end of it, I learned what I needed to learn to run a business and whatnot.
So did you find a big shock of doing things like the way you would have done it in Canada to the way things were done here?
Nah, not really. Nah, I didn't even know what I was doing when I was in Canada. I was just doing it by myself for a week and worked it out by the end of it. I was just using a float and a trowel with no screeds, no levels. I was just
Yeah.
doing it all by hand. I was just like, oh, this would be pretty cool for a job. But I dare say they do things quite similar. I think they do things quite similar. I've seen a few Canadian landscapers, American landscapers, hardscapers on YouTube and stuff, and they do things quite similar.
Yeah,
Um,
they do a lot more flexible paving than what we do.
they do, yeah, yeah. I don't. I think, yeah, I've done bugger all flexible paving since I've been in Australia doing it. Like we do it with like red bricks and stuff like that.
Yep.
But it's yeah, there's definitely better ways to do things, more
So
permanent ways to do things.
what was the way that the paving that you were doing in Canada? Was it flexible?
Oh, yeah, it was flexible. It was just on whatever material I could find on site, really. Like
Yeah.
it was literally just for an auntie. It was just repairing up her driveway, and it took me probably a week longer than it probably would have taken anywhere else because I had to work it out as I did it. But yeah, I just worked out once I pulled the bricks up. There's rocks, there's roots, and all that. Once I pulled all the rocks and roots out, then I found some crusher dust. I think it was on the construction site across the road. So I was barrowing crusher dust from across the road, and then I was doing the old school way with a 9045 and a lump hammer, just compacting it as I went.
As a trick.
Yeah, and I think back then I didn't really realize you could learn stuff from YouTube. So you probably would have made it a lot quicker if I just YouTubed how to do it. But obviously now I know the correct ways to do things. But back then it was just a lump hammer, a steel float, and rip the pavers up, rip it all back down. And it was just from whatever material I could find that matched what was already there. And
Yep.
yeah, and it
Yeah,
sort of taught me how pavements, I guess, work,
that's a
driveways.
bit of a good way of how landscapers do things. They just do like MacGyver things to make things work.
That's right.
Um, yeah, just make things up as you go every now and then.
Yeah. I suppose you got to learn to improvise, and that's
Yeah.
how you become a good tradesman is by the end result. There's not one way to get there.
Yeah, and that's a good way to learn problem solving as well, is to have that kind of mindset about thinking about how to do things uniquely.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So how long
You got
ago was
to
that?
think outside the box. That was I'm 33 now. That was probably 12, 13 years ago.
Yep.
Yep. I was only Yeah. Straight out of school, had no real trade experience in anything. Like laboured for a few different people, so I picked up a few practical skills here and there to work out what tools were for what. But that was just me chasing the snow seasons, like in Whistler and just snowboarding flat
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
And then
nice.
I knew I needed a real career. So that's when I came back. I thought about what I actually wanted to do, and it was working outside, and it was working with my hands and around machines and building stuff. So it all comes down to the landscape package, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I loved about it as well. Just so you so different about all the different things you do. So not like almost no day is the same as the last. You're not doing the same thing all the time.
Yeah, nothing stagnant.
Mm.
Yeah.
And where were you living? Like you said, you worked with a couple of Sydney landscapers. Were you living over there?
Yeah. So I'm from Sydney originally. I now live in Mansfield, Victoria.
Yep.
I was living just near the mouth of the Hawkesbury River at a little town called Barara, and it's probably an hour north of Sydney CBD. There's a few local landscapers around the area, a couple of one-man bands, some old school brickies that had got into landscaping and just, had been doing it for 30 years and just knew their way around every construction site. So there's a few guys that took me under their wing and really wanted to show me and teach me. And then, yeah, so I started the business there when I was 21, 22, which was just me and the dog and the ute just doing whatever we could. And then got a couple of other guys to jump on board and help. And then about 25, I got the travel bug again and then closed up shop. Went and worked for another landscaper for a bit and learned a bit more from there. And then I knew I really wanted to do some machine work. So I moved up to the Kimberley and jumped on a road crew driving graders. Oh, not sorry, not graders. 20 tonners and loaders and rollers and learnt the civil side. So it was just essentially large scale landscaping, really. Like you got the same objective at the end, it's just using different machinery and more material. So
Yeah, wow.
learning, yeah, different falls and different machines to get you different outcomes. And then, yeah, and then then I ended up my travels in Mansfield, which is where I started a carpentry apprenticeship because I really thought moving to the country landscaping wasn't going to be a thing. So I needed something that was going to always put a roof over my head and didn't want to have any quiet days. Plus the wet days in Sydney really threw me off. For about a month there, I had no work because it was just pissing down rain. The last year I was working there and I was sort of, this can't be sustainable. I need a job that's inside as well. So I went and got my Certificate 3 in carpentry, then worked out that Mansfield was a big hotspot for landscaping. And
Yeah,
there
right.
was no one really doing it here. But there was all these large homes that we were building. They were just finishing them with clay sites. They wouldn't even top dress them in topsoil or anything. And it was up to the client to work out how to landscape it because there was no one around to do it. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. I'll go and do that again. And yeah, and that's how I got here.
Yeah, right. So what was the when you first started your first business, what was the name of that?
It was Peak Project Group.
Yeah, okay. From
No,
start.
sorry, it was Peak Landscaping Services back then.
Yep. Is
So
that the
yeah,
snow peaks?
yeah. Well, that's exactly right. I was addicted to the mountains. Like
Yeah.
my blood's Canadian, so I was just always wanted to be around the mountains. And so I started a business. Well, I was actually sitting there with a fella one day getting some advice on how to start a business and how to come up with a name. And we just rattled off a few names together, and then Peak stuck. And then so their logo is a peak of a mountain, and it was back then. It was a different logo, but it was actually. You ever heard of Patrick Swords, Australian Native Landscapes?
Yeah.
So that was him. That's the guy that I sat down with. I went into his office one day, told him I wanted to have a business meeting with him at 22. So we sat down. He's like, "So you want to talk business?" I said, "Yeah, I want to know how to start a business." And he laughed. And he's like, "Right, what do you got for me? You got a name?" So yeah, that's who helped me design my logo.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, he's been a bit of an inspiration the way he's taken his business.
Did he
Um,
have any like any work for you if you needed it?
Yeah, he did say, when you're ready, when you've got the skills behind you and you're ready to take on some jobs, I'm definitely happy to put you in touch with the right people who can send some plans your way to quote and whatnot. But what we were doing where we were in the Hills District, there was just so much work there that was keeping our team of three busy. But I didn't really reach out for any other work. I suppose I didn't really want to get too busy too because I had my mind on traveling and my mind wasn't there. I was a young 20-year-old and I was just like, I don't know where the dream was, but it wasn't enough to hustle then.
Yep.
But he was cool. Like we had a great chat about his career and how he started. He said you got to be in the right mindset for this. So let me know when you're in the right mindset.
Are you in the right mindset now?
I am 100%. So yeah, the travel really helped. Bit of soul searching and working out what I wanted out of life. And it was a wife, it was kids, it was land, and then yeah, a lot more settled and got big dreams for the future. And I've teamed up with two other guys, Harry and Derm, who we sat down one day and restarted Peak, and they've both got the same dreams, and we're doing yeah good things.
So how long ago was it you moved to Mansfield?
I moved here 6 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, I was in Perth, and I was ringing companies in Bright and Mansfield trying to get a mature age apprenticeship in carpentry. And I got on to one builder, and he said, if you can get here in a week, you got a job. So I punched it across the Nullarbor and got a job, and then met my wife out of that too. My wife is the niece of my boss at the time. So they hooked us up, and yeah, the rest is history. So I came here for a job and to look for a wife, and I got both of them.
Yeah, nice. And you got
So
the snowfields just nearby.
yeah, Mount Buller. We do a little bit of work up on Mount Buller, which is wicked. That was the first place I worked. First job site I worked on was 4-story luxury apartment on Mount Buller. So it was pretty cool, like coming from the Kimberley of red sands and blue
Yeah.
skies to the middle of winter in Mansfield and working in the snow. It was awesome.
Oh no, so they work right way through.
The company I was working for was getting contracted by the resort to do some work for the resort for staff housing and what was it? It was staff rooms and stuff like that, like repairing so that because the work blew into winter, they just needed to keep going until it's finished. But they don't generally keep working because it's
Yeah.
just too hard to get material on site, and
Yeah.
it's like icy roads and it's just too dangerous.
Yeah, that's something I was going to ask about when you said that there was no there was landscaping work to be done in Mansfield, but no one doing it. So was it were you able to get materials that you needed to do it?
Yeah, it wasn't like Sydney. Like you're very
Yep.
limited to what you can get. There was a lot of natural material that was sourced locally, like a lot of mudstone. I don't know if you use mudstone down there,
Yeah.
which is something I'd never used in Sydney. It was all sandstone there and bluestone and just feature rock you could get from sort of eco and whatnot. But here we had all your garden soils, your mulches and stuff were pretty much the same. And the granite, like the decomposed granite and stuff, was just quarried straight out of the local quarry, which is the same color anyway.
Yep.
So it wasn't too hard to find the basic materials, and anything else we sort of learnt to get from Melbourne or from wherever it quarries it or wherever it comes from. But most of the material here comes from Melbourne.
Yep.
And whatever you want, you can usually get. They're really good here. Mansfield Garden Supplies, they sort of make it happen between them and the timber yard. They find everything we need that's spec'd on jobs.
Yep. And
But
were those jobs that you were doing, were they designed by anyone, or was it just a sort of conversation between you and the client to what they wanted?
well, to start off with, it was just me coming up with a mud map for them for what I think they needed, or like based on their needs. Um, but as the jobs got bigger, and it took a lot of time to draw these, and we're not designers by any means. I can draw based on plans we've seen in the past and what we need to read. But as you know, like you need to be on the same page as the client. Everything needs to be detailed, and it's so hard to do that detail and quote accurately without proper drawings. And so Mim, which is a designer, that's my business partner's auntie. I couldn't tell you the name of the business, so I just know her as Mim. I'm sorry, but she got on board and started designing all of our jobs.
Yeah.
She's from Melbourne, so what we do now is, which has made it a lot easier, we put our clients in touch. If they're a big job, we put our clients in touch with her, and then they sort of liaise back and forth until they've got a plan that they agree on, and then we take it from there. We
Yep.
do have a bit of say, but yeah, like at the start, it was really easy. Most people just say, "Oh, we want a boulder wall there, and we want some plants and irrigation." So to that degree, we can work that out pretty much. But when there were large properties and there was huge irrigation systems and huge like drainage plans and earthworks and paving and all that, it was just like, all right, we really need to start getting some detail on pages, just for even when we're on site, just following a bit of a
Yeah.
guide. Otherwise, you might get lost and go, "Oh crap, what was the length of that again?" Or
Yep. And it's just so that you and the client know you're on the same page as well, so that what you do is what they expected.
yeah, and they know exactly what they're paying for because we're doing a scope of works and we're quoting it based as per plan. Or if there's any amendments and stuff, we get the plans amended and everything is just up to date. So when we're drawing stuff by hand and they want to change the shape of something, it's a pain
Yeah.
to rub things out, redraw them. which you don't know what's going to affect the next thing and whatnot. It's just an add-on effect. But yeah, it's definitely helped so much with the way we do things, working closely with MIM and the client to get to that final result. So then they can actually see what they're getting at the end without going, oh, I hope they are building what I imagined.
Yeah,
Whereas MIM's really good at taking their imagination, putting it on paper. And yeah, there's a whole reason why design is a whole nother trade
yeah,
because yeah, you really need those skills to take what the client wants and needs and put it on paper in 3D and renders and all the cool stuff that really makes them feel comfortable about employing someone to build that for them.
yeah. When you see, like, anyone can do design, but when you see someone who knows what, like, who can really do it,
Yeah.
you can tell the difference between a good design and just a design.
Yeah. Well, they build the job in their head. They build it on paper. They know what it's going to look like at the very end. They know what's going to be affected if any changes are made, and it's fantastic just being able to lean on her in that regard. Do you do your own design?
Yeah, yeah. But it's not something I've been doing the whole time. So I've been going for 16 years for myself, and it's probably the last 4 years I reckon been doing designs.
Okay.
So, like, along the way, like right from the start, like, because I've had been design program for probably 18 years, but so I've always done little bits and pieces. But like, that was like those times where I'm saying anyone can do design. Like, they were the type of designs I was doing. They were just basic, just like mud maps, so that that's something that you can quote off, and so that the client knows you're on the same page.
Yep.
But then, yeah, the more you do, the better you get, and then the more jobs you do, the better you get at understanding different things, and
Yep.
yeah, just improves from there.
Do you feel like you've learned a lot from design from other people's designs
Yeah, 100%. That's why I love doing them as well, because you learn something off everyone, whether it's just
different
about
styles or different
one
materials?
different plant, or yeah, different materials. Like, yeah, you can learn so much from them, and not even necessarily big name designers. It can be anyone.
Yeah, that's it. Everyone's got their own style
Yeah, or they just use different materials that other people might not know about. So,
in different ways. Yeah.
yep, yeah.
Yep.
So, with your business partners, when did they come on board?
So that was August last year.
All right.
So basically, when I finished my carpentry apprenticeship, it was pretty much the same week I got signed off. I had a landscaping job waiting for me. So I started that by myself and I was really struggling by myself. Just even things like lifting the whacker up on the ute by myself or holding the end of a tape or just getting a second set of eyes on stuff. And I always knew if I did this again, like went into business by myself again, well, in business again, I wanted to do it with someone just so I could enjoy the journey with someone, enjoy the wins with someone, share the losses with someone, staff issues, all those sorts of things that you sort of carry on your own shoulders. You feel like you're wearing the weight of the world on your shoulders. But if you've got someone else to bounce ideas off or to share the load, it's just so much more enjoyable. And I knew the two guys that I went into business with. Harry was my foreman when I was a carpenter, and Dermot was a subby working for the same boss and as a carpenter as well. And he already had his own business, and Harry had just finished being a foreman for that boss of ours. And I just sat them both down. I said, I'm not going to piss fart around. Do you want to be a part of this? Because I want to do something really special and I don't want to do it by myself. And both of them were quite driven themselves. And they said, yeah, well, let's do it. Let's have a crack. So we painted it on paper, what I thought the company model should look like and what sort of jobs I want to do and the values that I stand for. And their values aligned as well, which was really cool. It just, a lot of people warned me about partnerships and stuff, but since day dot, it's worked really well. We've had each other's backs. And so that was, yeah, November last year. So we've been in business for a year now.
Yeah, cool. And what are their skill sets like? Are you all pretty similar, or is it working well because you've got different skills?
It's working really well because we worked out what our strengths and weaknesses were at the start and what I can admit my weaknesses are, and they tend to be Harry's strengths. And so Harry is quite smart, like very smart, and he's able to, when it comes to scheduling, quoting, any background stuff, any team building experiences, any ways to improve well-being or anything, he's like that's his full-time job. And he gets in his zone when he's in his office and he's quoting or he's working out how to present a proposal to a client so they have confidence and trust in us. Whereas with me, I didn't even know how to drive my computer properly until he came along. So he showed me. Well, he learnt all the apps that we use, and he's taught us all individually. So that's his strength, and that was my weakness. Dermot, he is an unreal foreman. He's like he's like the captain of a ship. He won't ask anyone to do something he's not willing to do himself. And if he wants something done, he'll show everyone the best way to do it. And he's like his energy just pumps his whole team up. And I guess that's what I aspire to be, a bit of Dermot and a bit of Harry, because I do like the office side of things because it's easier on the body and it just sort of stimulates my brain a bit more, where Derm hates it. But I also like being a foreman, and I like organising the job and pumping the boys up for a day, putting some tunes on, and going through a walkthrough for the day and being part of the on the tools part of thing in the trenches, you could say. So I'm a bit of Derm, a bit of Harry. Derm is all of Derm, and Harry is all of Harry. And then none of us tread on each other's toes, which is awesome. We've all got our sort of own jurisdiction.
Yeah, nice. Do you have like regular meetings like that you got set?
Yeah, yeah. So we've implemented every Tuesday morning as a toolbox talk at the yard, and that's to talk about the good and the bad and what we want to achieve over the next 2 weeks, next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and what's coming up for Christmas, what things we'd like to add, like value wise, whether it just being saying to the boys, like, let's, even if we haven't quoted for this, it's the one percenters that count. Let's just do this extra thing, like just gurney the driveway before we leave so that there's no track marks, there's nothing. Just do little things that the client will notice to make them feel like they're worth $1 million. Those are the sorts of things we bring to the Tuesday morning toolbox talks. And then each day we call it a walkthrough, a stand-up meeting. It's like a 5 minute. Doesn't have to go for long. It's just to go through, even if we went through it yesterday, it's to go through, righto, today, boys, this is what I think is achievable. And yeah, just walking around, delegating tasks to each staff member, and giving them a chance to have their input about the day, what the most economical way to go about things are, or they got any other ideas of other ways we can do this. And then once we're all on the same page, and we sort of get into it.
Yeah, I think
So
that's such an
weekly and
underrated
daily.
it's such an underrated thing to do is that last one about telling people what the plan is for the day. Because like it's not it's very simple, and like you said, it only takes 5 minutes, and you might have said it the day before, but at least that gives people who are less experienced some sort of vision of what they're looking to achieve, rather than just saying go and do X, Y, Z, but they don't know why they're doing it.
Yeah,
Whereas they're going to be able, if they know why they're doing it and what the end goal is, they're going to be able to think of things as that come up, like problems that come up that might affect it later on. So, yeah, I
exactly.
reckon that's a great idea.
Yeah, instead of waiting to the very end of the job, which might be a 3 month job, to see why they did something a certain way, you could say, yeah, so we actually trench in our mainline irrigation 150 mil deep because we don't want it in clay. We want it to be easily accessible for servicing, but we want it deep enough that a mower's not going to hook into it. So, and not backfilling with rocks and stuff. Like if you go through details and say why, they can actually enjoy doing something instead of sort of going against it or not knowing why they're doing something a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's something I sort of take from previous experience of like not being shown or explained to why something happens, because you might be genuinely interested why you do something a certain way, but if no one's there to teach you why you're doing something in a certain way, they might do it for 10 years not knowing why.
Yeah.
But yeah, also too, if you explain why you want something done a certain way, it gives them a chance to go, hey, I've actually seen this done before a better way. Do you reckon we could try that? And then we go, yeah, let's try that. Why not? And if it doesn't get us to where we want to be, then we'll go back to the other way.
Yep. Yeah. Nothing to hurt about trying different things.
No, that's right. Well, we're all still learning every day. You never know what you can be surprised by.
Yeah. So how many staff have you got on at the moment?
I've got 11.
And so before those two came on board, like, you just had yourself?
Yeah, so I had a couple of subbies that were working for me at the time. They were coming and going, sort of traveling and whatnot. They just needed some cash work or subby work. And then it was back to me by myself, and I found it quite hard. So when Derm and Harry came on board, Derm brought an apprentice carpenter with him, Cal, who's still with us. And yeah, and then it was the four of us. And then, yeah, each month we're finding there's people that are really interested in landscaping that have never had the opportunity to do an apprenticeship, or they might have come up from Melbourne as a landscaper. And yeah, we've all landed on our feet because it's just, yeah, like I said before, there was probably one or two maybe small country landscapers that were sort of winding down, and they'd been doing it for 30 years, just doing rock work and whatever, but no opportunities for young people to come out of school and do an apprenticeship. It was always, all right, well, when I finish school, I'll just go do plastering because that's what's available, or I'll just go do a plumbing apprenticeship. Now they can learn earth moving and bit irrigation, garden lighting, paving, concreting, all in the one show instead of just sticking to one trade that they do for the rest of their life. So I think that's what we found is when we put ads up, just looking for tradesmen or labourers, we've got heaps of people saying, hey, I'm happy to labour for you, but I really want to do an apprenticeship. Like there's something I've always wanted to do. And I was going to move down to Melbourne for it. And then, it turns out they can stay right at home and learn it here, which is so
Yeah,
exciting.
awesome. Where do they do their TAFE?
So we do it through Murray Mallee, which is
Yep.
a regional training organisation, which is just who I did my carpentry apprenticeship with, which is awesome because they, I guess, because the guys that are with us is because they genuinely want to be in the industry and they come from farms. They've already been working for, you know, since they were 12 years old, hard work. So they go to a classroom in TAFE and they're surrounded by kids that just don't really care. It's just a day off work for them. Whereas they actually really love doing the Murray Mallee because an assessor will come out once every couple of months and sit down with them with their books and go through it with them and find out from photos what they've been doing with us, what areas we've been covering, and then he assesses them on that subject. And yeah, and they can actually get through their apprenticeship a lot faster
Mm.
because
So that's
they're
always,
they're in charge of how quick they do their bookwork and being on site. They're getting that extra day in on site, more experience. I suppose the downfall is that when you go to TAFE, you can meet other people from different companies who do things different ways.
yep.
But we sort of subby concreters and other earth movers from time to time too, which our boys can then work with them for the day and learn different ways. So it's not just from us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
Right.
way of doing it. Even people who like don't have apprentices, just getting your subcontractors in, even if it's something you can do, just
Yeah.
so that you can learn a couple of extra things about the way they set things up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got a bricklayer local here that when we got brick jobs, he actually suggests, do you want to give me one of your apprentices today and I'll show them how to do this pattern or I can show them how to build this pier or whatever. And, we can all do that, but a brickie's a brickie.
Yep.
And, he'll show them how to bag it and render it. And he's actually super keen to teach the next generation coming through. And so are we. But I'm the same. It's like when I wanted to go and learn how to do concreting, I worked for a concreter. Like I'm no finisher by any means or any gun concreter, but I can get the job done. But I learned a little bit through a landscaper. And when I went to work for a concreter for a bit, I learned all these skills that I can put in practice. And same with carpentry. Like you can learn how to build a deck from a landscaper, or you can go and work for a carpenter and learn how to build a deck.
Yeah.
And I think if there's certain aspects of landscaping you want to learn, I'd be all for our guys jumping on with another crew just to pick up those skills that we might not be able to forward through to them because we might not have the expertise in that certain thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We got we don't do our own exposed ag concreting. We get concreters to do that. And we had them doing a driveway on a job for us. And I was doing some burnished steps.
yep,
And like their concreters who they've been doing it their whole life and they had no idea how to do what I was doing. Like, because it's even though it's concreting,
yeah, right.
it's such a different style of
The
doing it, like
niche
setting up
in
the
that.
formwork, yeah, and
Yep,
yeah, so they were pretty impressed with that, and like, yeah, and they said, "Why can't you do what we do?" And I said, "Because it's completely different. Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's a whole different kettle of fish."
That's why it is good going into any job, hoping and not being the smartest guy in the room, just asking questions because you never know what you can pick up from someone that's been in the industry doing something a certain way.
Yeah,
Yeah, just like doing burnished off form steps and stuff. Like a concreter might be doing driveways and pathways his whole life, and then sees that and goes, "Wow, I've never actually been taught that."
yeah,
So
yeah,
really cool.
yeah. Because it's the same with people who are doing like slab, like commercial slabs, like their tilt panel slabs.
Yep.
Like that doesn't mean they know how to do exposed ag.
Yeah, that's
Like
right.
they probably got a good idea because I think they do spray retardants on there to help them separate or something.
Yep.
But yeah, there's so many different.
Suppose it's like being a framing carpenter and going to work,
Yeah,
like, you know, doing decks. Like it's still carpentry, but you might not have ever had the chance to do a deck or do a lock up or whatever.
yeah, yeah. It's wild when you think of all the different niches within each different
Within
trade.
industry. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so many specialties these days. Like, I suppose people's imagination, clients' imagination. That's why it's good to be versatile and to have
Yeah,
other people you can call upon because it's crazy what you can do. What's in the landscape these days? It's not just a red brick pathway and some hedges either side. It's you know exposed faces of pools and stuff that just all kinds of cool stuff that are not generic in landscaping anymore.
Yeah, it's awesome that clients are spending the money on doing that kind of stuff so that you're not just doing your basic red brick path out to a hills hoist. Like you're actually doing
Yeah.
some really cool stuff.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
So what sort of machinery have you got? Do you bring anything back from Kimberley?
We've got two Bobcat excavators. So one's a 2 tonner and one's a 3.5 tonner. One of our subbies, Chris, he's got a Toro, like a skid steer Kanga kind of thing, which
Yep.
is really handy. We've got a Hino 500 truck and just all your whackers and your mixers and a couple of tool trailers and stuff. We're lucky enough to be able to hire a posi track whenever we need it, which we've been using it flat out for like the last 3 months. So it would justify buying one for ourselves now. The thought of another overhead is just not something on the cards at the moment. We'd just rather stick to what we got.
Yep.
But no, I didn't bring anything back from the Kimberley. I wish I did. I keep seeing all these big earth moving companies around here driving machines that I used to drive up north, and I would just love to get in a 13 tonner or drive a grader, a dozer or something. But I guess we've got the best of both worlds. I can jump on the tools, or I can jump in a 3.5 tonner and move some rock around and get my fix.
Have you got any good attachments for the excavators, like a rock grabber or anything like that?
Yeah, for both machines, we've got all the same attachments. So tilt hitch, rock grabs, all your trenching buckets and whatnot. But we bought a sieve bucket, which we've been using heaps actually. So been able to recycle a lot of material, like a lot
Yeah.
of fill, cleaning out swale drains, and just reusing material on site. So it brings down the cost for the client. And it's a $900 bucket, and it's been the best thing ever.
Yeah, right.
So I would recommend anyone getting that, even for small machines, just cleaning out old fill with just not rubbish, but just rubble and stuff. You can reuse the rubble in certain spots and reuse topsoil and stuff without crap through it. And it's been such a good attachment. And I think the next job we've got coming up is it's a like an ag block, but there's a lot of fallen leaf matter and branches and trees. So we're looking at getting a stick rake for that one, like a
All
root
right.
rake.
What does that
So it's
look like?
it just looks like a big comb with a hitch on it. So with the tilt, really handy. So you can rake all your debris in a big pot, in a big burn pile, and we'll burn it in winter, or take it away. But yeah, another cheap attachment just for cleaning large areas. So I mean, it probably wouldn't be handy in suburbia, but definitely these agricultural blocks where there's debris on site, we can rake and sieve at the same time. So
Yep.
instead of manually handling branches and getting a chipper in and doing all that, when you've got half an acre of area to clear before you even start the earthworks, we just clean up all the green matter first, bulk it up, and then take it away. And then, yeah, it's just a really handy attachment to have. We've got
Yeah.
one for the 2 tonner, but we'll probably get one for the 3.5 tonner too.
And you get your apprentices learning the machine pretty early?
Yeah, well, the first year's right now, just got his truck license. I've just been teaching him all day about mobilising and demobilising machines. So taking it off the truck confidently and driving the truck. So we put him through his license last week. But yeah, like traditionally, the apprentices don't get a go of the machines until third year because it's sort of a luxury that the bosses want to have. But the more people that are smarter and more capable on machines, the safer it is for everyone. And I'm not always on site; I might be on a different site preparing it, and I just know that our guys, well, they've come from machinery backgrounds with farms and stuff, so they're quite cluey.
Yep.
So, and we all know an 18-year-old just loves being in machines and digging holes and throwing rocks and all that sort of stuff. So that's a bit of a luxury for them, and it keeps them interested. Otherwise, they're just going to think they're a labourer
Mm.
until their third year. So, it just makes them part of the team, and it's just fun. It's economical. Like if I know Jackson, our apprentice, can jump in the posi track and load one area, I can be on the 3.5 ton loading another area. I don't have to have one machine stationary while another one's moving. It's perfect because we use the machines like an extra set of hands. So if two guys are struggling, then one guy could be a spotter and the other guy could be in a machine and not struggle and moving that thing or loading that truck and it just doesn't make sense for us to be the only operators. We just sort of get everyone to be an operator. And then
Yeah.
whatever they do with those skills later on, power to them. If they decide to go work for themselves or work for other people, then it means they got more skill to offer the next bloke.
Yeah, but the more that your people can do, the better it is. Because then, so you don't like if someone's sick who usually runs a machine, then you've got plenty of other people who can use it. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
get people learning as much as they can early on.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's just like everybody's interested in driving machines, and it sucks having to watch everyone else have the fun, and you have to earn your stripes. You still have to earn your stripes to a certain degree and show you're responsible, but and you're not going to swing the bucket around with water in it and dump it on people. But it is fun when you got a day of trenching coming up, and you've been doing it by hand for the last 3 months, and now you're able to get in the digger and do it, and perfect your skills doing that stuff.
Yeah, I actually hate being in there because I don't like digging in the ground because I don't know what's under there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, especially down Geelong way where you
yeah,
are. There's probably fibre and all kinds of stuff.
yeah, it's a bit different when you're out in acres of land. There's not much out there. But,
Oh, you'd be surprised. I could be digging in the middle of the paddock and yeah, scratch the surface of something pretty dangerous. So
yeah,
yeah, but no, we're very lucky that there's not too many dangers. We still try and stress the dangers that there could be something there at all times, and trying to look for a bit of a depressed trench that there could be something there in the past, or have a look where the downpipes are on the side of a house. It could be going over that trough or that water tank over there. So, but
yeah, yeah.
so do you run machines in your job as well, in your career?
No, just today we were excavating a job and we've got an excavator operator who we use when we need excavation. And when you were talking about the sieve bucket, I was going to say that he just tells me all the time, he goes, "Do you want to bring the sieve bucket?" Because he just loves using it as well, like
Yeah,
because he reckons it's such a good thing.
yeah,
But yeah, there's been jobs where we've had him on there and he's used it, and then, yeah, it's insane. Like he's got a big pile of just shit, and there's some nice soil
yep,
off to the side.
yep.
So
Was able to
yeah,
separate it all.
yeah, but yeah,
It means it's cost effective, isn't it? Because like if you're paying to get rid of fill, we never have to pay because there's always a hole in a paddock that can be
yeah,
filled. But I dare say in the city, like the cost of skips and the cost of waste for like clean fill or like venom, if you can reuse that on another job, or separate it and use it on the same job as a base or whatever, then you're cutting the cost in half, really, aren't you?
yeah, yeah. Like yeah, comparing clean fill to stuff that's contaminated, and then they charge you like a full industrial waste for
Yeah,
it. Like
yeah, and everybody
paying,
gets stung, don't
yeah, paid $1,800 for a 3 meter truck.
they? Yeah,
Like, it's insane.
that's seriously.
Sometimes, yeah, if it's
Wow.
yeah, if you've loaded it up,
Need to
and
get onto a recycling company that will take the soil for free for you.
yeah.
Do you find it hard not having a machine on site for when you want to quickly dig that hole or anything, instead of having to time it all around having an operator for one day, or
Nah, not really. Nah, we
it's just more coordination?
yeah, you just got to sort of know what you're doing at the start and try and get all that stuff done as much
Yep.
as you can when the initial excavation is done.
Yep.
And we've been pretty lucky where like we do a lot of projects that are on the peninsula, so it's all sand.
Oh,
So
perfect. Easy
it's
digging.
such good digging. It's just a dream.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like
That's what
we
it's
I'm
like in
getting
Perth.
yeah. Well, it's not quite the same, but it's more of a loam than pure sand, so it's actually good stuff.
Oh, good start. So something will grow in it.
Yeah, yep. We don't need to
Oh,
put all these
fantastic.
additives in it. But just this week, I dug a couple of holes on the weekend that some trees were getting craned in.
Yep.
And like the guy got there and he goes, "I don't know if the holes are big enough." So he goes, "You might have to make it bigger." So all right. So I went and took me 15 seconds to make them bigger because it's all just loam. I'm just scraping off the side. So yeah,
Beautiful.
it's just a
That's it.
dream.
No rock, no boulders, no clay.
Yep. No crowbar.
Fantastic.
They don't even know what a crowbar is.
No tennis elbow.
I've still got that somehow because not all the jobs are like that.
Oh, you got to count your wins.
Yeah. So what size? Like how many projects do you have on at once?
Well, we've got two landscaping crews, and we try have a job per crew, and three-quarters of the way through one job, we'll start the next.
Yep.
So I'll slip away and might start site cut. Like today, we're sort of three-quarters of the way through one job in Mansfield, and I'll take the machines over to the next site and start prepping for the next one. So we sort of have 1.5 jobs going at once each, just so if there's any delays on one job, say turf doesn't rock up or we're waiting on rock or whatever, we can always slip over and start doing other things on the other side. Just keeps everyone busy at all times,
Mhm.
which works well. It hasn't always been like that. We just recently got a really good foreman from another company locally, or Alexandra, Ben and Arroway, and he's been great. So he's been really good at helping us coordinate multiple jobs at once, and because the scale of the jobs are just like skyrocketing, it's been quite confronting, making sure we coordinate everything and making sure everything times up well, because it can be costly when you haven't coordinated it properly, and you got guys. Only so many cars you can wash, and only so many boxes of irrigation you can organise. So
Yeah.
and like pretty much we've only had a couple of those sorts of days where things haven't lined up properly. Thanks to Harry, he's quite organised, so there's always something ready to go or something to hand over and clean up or whatnot. So we've been quite lucky with everything timed well, and that, yeah.
And how far do you travel for work?
Oh, we haven't had to travel very far at all. The next big job we've got next year is in Yea, which is it's probably going to be an hour travel,
Yep.
which is probably what you're used to every day. So I shouldn't complain.
That's not, no, not me. I don't go that far. We just finished a job that's 40 minutes away and it's been driving me nuts because it's that far.
Well, I just always remember traveling an hour in the city, even if I was going 10 Ks.
Yeah, but we're in Geelong, so it's not quite, not
Not
quite
super.
Melbourne.
Nah, yeah, sorry. My Melbourne geography is not the best, but yeah, well, that's good then. It's like we don't have to travel too far, but it's not too bad. Like country driving for
Yeah.
40 minutes in the morning. A couple of our guys come from an hour away, so they actually really like it. That's just time to themselves to wake up and get ready for work. But yeah, no, we've been quite lucky with the jobs we've got around us. Are all sort of luxury acreage jobs, so they last so long. And then by the time the next one starts, it's around the corner anyway. So it's not like we have to travel too far for the jobs because we're not doing heaps of jobs. They're just probably 10 or 12 big ones a year,
Yep.
which sort of, yeah, it fills in the time. But
Yep.
the gay one is going to be hard, I think, with the travel, but we'll manage. Can't be too greedy about having the local ones.
Yeah, and the good thing about driving an hour like there is it's an hour every time. It's not like you're going to have traffic like there's going to slow you down by and make
Yeah.
it an hour and 40 minutes. Like
Yep.
it's pretty much an hour the whole every single time.
Yeah, you can time it. Basically going to take the same amount of time each time.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you see some new scenery.
exactly. Yep. Do you do any advertising or where are you getting all your jobs from?
Well, to date, it's all just been word of mouth. We've got an Instagram page and a website, but I'm not sure how much comes from that. And I don't spend a great deal of time on that. We have a girl, Darcy, who's done an awesome job with the photography and doing the posts for us on Instagram because, again, that's not our forte, social media. Sort of, it's something you dabble in a bit and have a scroll and whatever, but it's actually advertising on is another thing and making something look great or doing your photo justice. But I dare say in the new year we'll start to work out what sort of advertising we'll do. We do like a big banner out the front of our jobs, just more so for if quarry materials coming in that it's too hard to miss.
Yeah.
They know the driveway and just so I guess that's good in itself. If you've got a sign out the front of a job and people see, oh, well, there's a few signs around town, they must be all right.
Yeah, that's a good way to keep it local as well, to get a local work.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we want. And yeah, it's just sort of like if you see someone doing driveway trees and they haven't got a sign out the front, and you're like, oh, I really want some driveway trees done, but I don't want to stop and ask them.
Yeah.
There's a sign out the front with a number on it. Just give them a call when you're ready.
Yeah.
I do the same if I see someone doing something in a like on a job or whatever. I'm like, oh, I've actually been meaning to find someone for that, and then I drive past the job and there's a sign on the front. I'm like, perfect. I'll take a photo of that.
Yeah.
Call them later.
Yeah.
So yeah, no advertising. I guess we've sort of just been like we know it's I guess essential for the future because you can't just rely on word of mouth. It is a really good thing in this day and age, especially in the country, because you do one bad job, everyone knows about it. You do 10 good jobs, and one person will hear about it. But yeah, I think for future proofing yourself, I think it'd be good just to be loud and proud and seen. I think just to make sure that you got an edge on the industry and you're constantly moving forward because you just really don't want to move backwards
Yep. Yeah,
or
you're
to slow down.
better off having too many leads coming in than not enough.
Yeah, that's right. And we haven't been at a point where we've had to knock any work back because we're too busy because we tend to just we're just having a crack and we seem to be finding the right people at the right time to put on to keep up with that workload. But I guess at some point that might go stagnant and we might but I'd rather be prepared for that instead of going, oh, we need to hustle, we need to advertise now because we got 11 guys to pay, and
Yep.
we want to make sure they can stay in work and that we don't fall backwards. So that's going to be more of a drought-proof plan for next year. Is just plan for that and start doing that before we actually need it.
That's a good idea.
Do you advertise? Is there anything you can recommend?
I don't, but I've just got me and one qualified guy, so we don't need to because like you build up enough reputation that you get like and the jobs we work on,
Yeah,
like they're 6 week minimum jobs. So
yeah, perfect.
yeah, they
So
don't
within
need
that 6 week, you only need two more calls, and then you got the next job lined up. Or
yeah, like
six
while you're
weeks.
doing that job, you get one call and you're booked out for 3 months. So
Yeah,
like it's
yeah,
pretty like but when I had a designer on full time, I tried a bit of Google AdWords,
yep,
but didn't got nothing out of that.
yep.
But when I do my course, actually, I'm going to be doing some Facebook advertising on that and see how that goes.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, let me know how
Um,
it goes.
but I'm thinking of getting someone who, because you can employ people to do it for you, like
Okay, so they'll
who
know the
know what they're
best.
doing,
Yep. Yep.
rather than just me just watching a YouTube video to work out what's the best way to do it. So
Yep.
it might be that's somewhere where it's probably worth paying someone to do it because you can get that money back, a lot.
Good leads. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
your course is it's a landscaping specialty course. So it's you learn better skills than you would at TAFE. So if you want to specialize in one type of thing,
Uh,
so
it's it's not so much like there'd be some TAFE who teach the same as what I teach, but
yep.
it's more about people who don't want to have to go to TAFE just to learn how to do crazy paving, for example,
Oh,
or
okay. Yep.
how to build a deck.
So anybody can go.
Yeah, it's just all online. So,
Yep.
but it's also for people like in maintenance, if they want to learn how to do flexible paving, that's going to
Yep.
be on there, like brick paving.
Upskill themselves and
Yeah, yeah.
oh, that's fantastic.
So,
It'd be
yeah,
good for other companies too that, they might work in real flat areas. Like I remember working with someone from Shepparton one time and he had to move in order to learn retaining walls because there was never a need for retaining walls.
right.
So like for someone like that, if for a boss like myself, I'm not going to move to find other work. But if I want my apprentices to learn something that I know I can't teach them because we just don't have it around here, that'd be perfect for me to go, let's see what Joel's courses offer. There might be
Yeah,
something that we can't offer that you can learn from him. And then they get to fill in those gaps.
yeah, and it could even be like, for example, when you came back from Canada and started, working out whatever you're doing, that
Yeah.
might have been ideal for you at that time to learn how to do a
Oh,
certain thing.
absolutely. If that
Yeah,
was on offer, I probably would have jumped on that.
yeah. So yeah, hopefully it works out all right. But yeah, there'll definitely be people who benefit out of it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it grow, mate.
And hopefully January, I've been pushing it back. I think it's been 2 years since I started doing it. I just haven't had time to work on it, but I'm gonna lock in that it's gonna be January that it gets released. So once we finish our jobs up to Christmas, then
Yep.
I'm starting working on it, and I won't stop until it's finished. Because
Fantastic.
yeah, I just need to lock out time and get it done.
Yep. Just got to commit it.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, good stuff,
Um,
mate.
our last question for you, Patrick, is who do you think would be a good guest to have on the podcast?
Good guess. Well, that's a hard one. Can I think about it?
You can, but you have to tell me within
Oh,
within that couple of minutes.
yeah, all right. Maybe Mim,
Yeah,
the designer for us.
I was gonna say she might be a
Yeah,
good one.
she's awesome. Yeah, because I guess maybe up until us, they were all domestic and residential landscape designs, and now she's doing large rural design. So
Yeah, sure. They're
a bit
quite
of a
different.
shift in the industry and a bit of an upskill. Well, not upskill because she's already got the skill, but like a bit of a different climate. Like up here, obviously everything wants to kill our plants
Yeah,
between wildlife and climate. So it's a bit of a test for her to see what grows and what's going to work and erosion control, like even civil stuff. So that's the sort of stuff we've been throwing at her. So that'd be, I recommend giving Mim a call.
yep. That sounds like a good idea. Because like when I was doing designs, I'd get people who were like on a couple of acres asking me to do a design, and
Yeah,
I'd flat out say no because that's not my specialty. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a
yep,
broader area, so
yep,
it is quite a different tool set that she would be using for that. So
yep.
that's a good one.
All right, mate. Well, I'll forward you through her details.
Beautiful. So thank you very much for coming on and sharing your story. Absolutely loved it. And yeah, that was awesome chatting to you. And I'll look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for your time. And it was great to have a chat.